A screech tears through the night as we trudge along the muddy trail. Something slithers between the trees that isn't wolf or wraith. It's a living aberration, a fusion of flesh and shadow. I feel the axe tremble in my hand and a surge of power coil through my fingers. Why does my blood run cold at the sight of that ravenous monster, and how can I fight something that hunts me as prey? The moon hides behind heavy clouds, and the forest around Ravenshade feels like a yawning maw ready to swallow us whole. Tonight we've banded together to patrol beyond the palisades. Myself, Darren, Kara, and Felion, our young blacksmith apprentice whose childlike bravery never ceases to surprise. Felion's makeshift spear is numb with cold, but the fire in his eyes betrays his resolve. We set out before the second bell tolled, Talia's chants still echoing at the village center. Twisted trees cast gnarled shadows that bar our path like wooden arms. My reliquary pulses, reminding me of our oath: protect Ravenshade at all costs. Against my chest, its light hums in harmony with Kara's hammer and Darren's runeaxe. The damp air smells of rot and broken promises. With each step, the chill crawling up my spine intensifies. The darkness doesn't fade away. It seeps out of the trunks, hungry for us. Everything begins with the snap of a dry branch. At the rear, Felion raises his spear in alarm. Something's coming. His voice falters in the night's hush. I step forward and make out the silhouette. Shadow wolves with vertebrae arches jutting from their backs, translucent skeletons woven into living flesh. Death itself commands their swarm. These aren't mere wolves, I murmur, lifting the reliquary like a beacon. Darren bellows a war cry and charges, axe swinging to rake the shadow of one beast. Sparks fly as steel meets black fur, and the creature recoils, howling a tortured lament that tears at my ears. Kara lunges in, hammer pressed against her palm as runes of containment flare in blue bursts. Amid the chaos, Felion thrusts, but misses, and the wolf lunges, nearly toppling him. Instinct seizes me. I unleash an arrow of pure light that slices through the air and cleaves the shadow, ripping a jagged tear in the mist. In that instant, I witness true horror. The wolf convulses, and for a fleeting heartbeat, its muzzle stretches into a distorted human face, a crystallized nightmare. Kara utters a muffled gasp and meets my eyes. This is too alive to be legend, she breathes. Darren snarls, feeding his rage into the axe. Felion, dazed, lifts a defiant glare, knuckles white around his spear. I feel the reliquary throb. Our war has only just begun, and the worst is yet to come. I push through an impromptu corridor of splintered trunks, reliquary and axe raised high. The horde of hybrids surges forward, teeth and bone an endless tide. Kara summons a wall of shimmering water. Darren drives rune stakes into the earth beneath the monster's paws. Felion vaults into a reckless strike. Then the ground shudders in a violent quake, and something swoops above us, ebony wings beating and unleashing a piercing shriek.
Quick tip to level up your experience. Read Manhwas and light novels for free. Listen to epic audiobooks. Watch unlimited anime. Play cloud games with no console. And stream the best anime soundtracks. Check the description now and grab your free trials.
Ebon wings tear open the sky, casting massive shadows over the clearing. A winged creature, part crow, part wraith, dives toward Kara. She rolls aside, hammer spinning, and unleashes a storm of sparks that shatters its spectral wing before it can strike. Below, Darren stakes pin down half the wolves. The reliquary on my wrist arcs a beam of light that turns the attackers to shimmering ash. Then I see Felion recoil, eyes fixed on the fading smoke. These monsters, they don't obey death, he whispers, his innocence stripped bare. I realize now that something greater orchestrates this assault. These are abominations born of corrupted ancient magic, not mere beasts. Kara tugs her hammer free and charges like a panther, striking the crow wraith with all her might. The creature screeches, tearing the air, then dissolves in a violet flash. Darren raises his axe in triumph, but the reliquary still pulses, etching runes into the nocturnal air. From the edge of the clearing, Talia calls out, "You've been chosen as guardians, but shadow corruption is the symptom of a greater evil. I must tell you the truth. The Valerians sacrificed themselves to seal a ritual granting darkness immortality. And that seal is breaking." My chest tightens under the weight of her revelation. Our victory was only a temporary reprieve. If the ritual awakens, Ravenshade will become a field of bones. Kara swallows hard. So we haven't killed anything, only delayed disaster. Relief and dread war within us. Felion raises his spear, knuckles white. If the seal breaks, ancestral weapons won't be enough, we'll need something more. All around, the darkness seems to whisper, "You have yet to prove yourselves." Amid the whirlwind of sparks and gasps, Talia reveals a fatal secret. The seal fails because someone weakens it from within. Her voice drops to a deadly hush. There's a traitor in Ravenshade, someone who longs to unleash the darkness. My gaze sweeps over the group. Darren, ever loyal. Kara, fierce. Felion, young but sincere. Who among us thirsts for power? Suspicion hangs like a blade between us. I close my eyes and feel the reliquary blaze against my chest. The crest throbs in resonance with betrayal. If the corruption isn't solely external, our greatest battle may lie within our own ranks. We must reinforce the seal before the next dusk and unmask the traitor, I command. The plan forms quickly. Kara and Felion will install detection amulets at key village waypoints. Darren will mount vigil at the gates. I will question every guardian beneath the Valerian symbol. Talia will cast intention reading spells but warns, whoever bears the taint will have their heart laid bare. Lanterns flicker to life as we head home, the reliquary pulsing like a war drum. Trust no one, I instruct, letting the unspoken suspicion hang in the cold night air. Someone among us is sabotaging our defenses. Dusk dyes the sky blood red as we return to Ravenshade. Torches along the wall flicker unevenly, the first sign the traitor has struck. Kara and Felion sprint to check the amulet at the north gate. They find it smashed, shards of black stone scattered on the ground. Someone broke this before we could seal it. Felion shouts, fist smashing the wood. Darren moves to inspect the runes on the east gate. I find him kneeling before a pillar, a rune extinguished and ancient script gouged into the stone by blade. "This wasn't the beast's doing," he whispers, horror in his eyes. "It was human." My hand tightens around the reliquary, the crest trembling. Something in the aura tells me the traitor wears, or has desecrated, the same symbol. I draw a steady breath and give orders. Kara will weave chains of light over the erased glyphs. Darren will forge metal plates to cover the gaps. Felion will distribute rune baits to trap the corrupted. Each act of solidarity echoes hollow against the looming betrayal. Then Talia comes racing toward us, panic etched on her face. Behind her, villagers flood the main street, torches raised. "They're attacking the square. Shadow creatures are overrunning the market," she gasps, and a monstrous roar shakes the stone arches overhead. I sprint to the east gate. Kara follows, shouting, "Use the reliquary on the pillar, now." I press the crest against the stone, and it flares with icy flame, igniting the rune. The pillar erupts in blinding light, sending a ripple that repels the creatures. But in that brilliance, the traitor's shadow stands revealed, a hooded figure, arm raised in defiance, blade dripping with putrid mist. A muffled laugh rattles the air. "Awaken, heirs, the shadows know no bounds." The fissure we believed sealed yawns open once more, swallowing torches and screams. I clutch the reliquary, fighting to keep its light alive, but the figure darts away into the alleyways. Doubt claws at my mind. How do you fight someone who wields your sacred symbol to defile it? Amid the chaos, I feel Darren's fist slam into my shoulder. "We're racing against time," he growls. "And betrayal." Kara's gaze hardens, fists ignited with resolve. Young Felion tightens his grip on his spear. "We won't let Ravenshade fall, together or not at all." A rising mist swallows the square, shadows dancing around the walls. The reliquary on my chest vibrates, an ancestral voice calling judgment. I sense the moon's cold stare piercing through the clouds, testing my courage. Then a dull crash echoes, the north gate collapses, shattering chains of light and unleashing tendrils of darkness. A horde of hybrids floods the village, snarling with demonic fury. Felion charges in a burst of heroism, only to be slammed by a skeletal wolf. Darren roars and cleaves one creature in two, but the onslaught never ends. I lift the reliquary and roar a battle cry of justice and rage. "By Valerian, we will fight until the last shadow." At that moment, the moon rifts open, revealing stars so cold I feel the world tremble. Dawn beckons, but only one of us will rise in Ravenshade when day breaks.
Did you enjoy the video? Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This helps us know which stories you love most and which ones we should prioritize in future productions. Your support is essential for us to keep bringing you the best manhwa content every day. See you in the next episode.